Hey guys, welcome back to License to View.
It always feels so weird every time because I can't hear the intro in my ears, so I'm always just like, guess I'm be like,
Yeah,
when's it gonna be over?
about 30 seconds usually. I use a new theme song this week.
Okay.
But it's what License to View, guys. We're back another week, episode 97
Whoo,
of the
getting there, getting
podcast.
close.
We would only have been at episode 300 by now if we
Only if we only hadn't taken those 3 years off.
if we were only consistent.
Yeah.
Um, but we're back. It's an early Sunday morning.
hmm
What's the weather like in Orlando right now?
It's fucking rainy as shit. This
Really?
tropical storm that, or this, is it a hurricane? I think it's still a tropical storm that hit Louisiana. It also hit like northwest part of Florida, and so we're getting a lot of like the outer bands from that. And it's just like, it was like yesterday, it was like fucking rainy as shit and super windy. And it was like, I think a lot of areas near us saw like over 4 inches of rain. And
Really?
so it just looks like another dry and dreary day like that. Well, not dry, but another dreary day like that today. I could already see like it's just gray clouds. It's going to be all day, just gray clouds.
Yeah, here it's chilling out. Like
Okay.
it's just cooling. Like it was so
Yeah.
hot and now it's just like cooling out.
Well, that's the biggest thing also of like me living in Orlando is just like it's still fucking hot. It's
Yeah.
so hot. And I just don't. And I moved here in December, and even then, I think it was still like 60 and 70 degrees. So it's like there's not like an off switch. It's just like it's either turned it up to 110 or we're at
hmm
like 70.
it's so weird that though you've been there because we started doing this podcast consistently again,
hmm
like probably a year and a half ago, maybe
I
something like
think
that.
so. I think we started right around. I think it was when I moved into an apartment at my old station
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
after about 6 months or something like that.
Because I think we were on
I think it was
episode
like
like we were like 30 something, so 52 weeks give or take.
something like that.
Plus,
I think
we
it was
went we
something.
missed
I
some
think we were in
weeks.
like the 40s or something like that. But yeah, it was like I think it's been like a year and a half or so since we started. Actually, it's probably been like 2 years now since we started doing it consistently again.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think so.
Something like that. But
Yeah.
so if we're gonna it's slow start episode, aka we'll be kind of just here. I've got caffeine.
Yeah.
They got the DDP.
Ooh, the GDP.
Bang.
Got
Um,
it.
and then Down Dallas Page, and then we'll probably progressively wake up over the course of the
Yeah.
episode. Um,
Something like that.
but with that being said, Zach, what have you
Hmm.
been up to this last week, man? If anything, as you sip some water.
Couple of things. Couple of things. So, I played more Captain Tsubasa. I
Mm,
beat the online campaign for one of the routes. So I discovered this when I was doing it that there's like 3 routes, and so I beat like the first route that I did, which is a lot of fun. And I'm doing it again, running through with a different team, trying to do like a kind of different character. And now I know kind of like how the game works a little bit more with like because a lot of the progression for like your creative characters to get like different dribble moves and shooting moves and stuff like that relies on you doing like you have like cards for each player on the different teams, and so you get like friend points based on like choosing specific cards or stuff like that. And um so I'm like kind of like manipulating that system a little bit more to like get more of the like interesting moves that are in the game
right.
going. So I've got that going on. So I'm doing the second run through on that. I'm probably about halfway through it at this point. I'm probably complete it sometime next week. But it's a lot of fun. You can also like kind of change who you battle in like the finals of the youth tournament. So it was like the default one is like you go up against Germany, and so now I'm kind of like doing the route where I face off against the Brazilian team. So it makes it so that it's not exactly like just doing the same thing over and over again, which is
Right.
fun. But that game's still super fun. I enjoy it a lot. Um, so I'm having a good time with that. I
Cool.
also watched a movie.
Okay.
Uh, It's a weird movie. I got it on one of my recent. I've decided every other paycheck that I've been going on Walmart dumpster dives through their Blu-ray counters. So I was able to find a movie called, and it's a movie that I've been interested in seeing since I heard it was announced because the title is so out there that I was
Right.
like, fuck, like I kind of need to watch this. Plus the main character in it is played by Sam Elliott, and I love Sam Elliott. He's great. So the movie's called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Um, this movie is not what I expected, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's a very slow burn character action, or not character study, which is not what you would expect with the name like The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it a lot. It really is focused around Sam Elliott's character, who was basically like a Nazi hunter, like covert, military agent during World War II. And so you basically find out in the story that like he was one of the people that he was the person that originally assassinated like the original Hitler. And then the way he explains it is that basically he has the monologue about the fact that it was like by the time he killed Hitler, like the ideas of Nazism were already a part of it, and then they just made like fake dummy Hitlers that like also explain like the other conspiracy theories of assassination plots. Like he mentions like Project Valkyrie, and then he talks about like the final one that died in the bunker and stuff like that. So there's that bit. But so he's like this legendary military hero. He doesn't see himself as one. That's kind of like the main draw of the story. Is like he has kind of regrets from his time in the war and like what the war took out of him, and like it also took him away from like his girlfriend that he really loved, and basically when he returned, he found out that she died, and so it was like kind of like dealing with that kind of regret and stuff like that of everything that the war took from him, and him trying to cope with that. What he did and who he is as a person, like trying to move forward. But basically, end up figuring out that the FBI and the Canadian governments end up coming to visit him because Bigfoot's been spotted. And not only has Bigfoot been spotted, apparently Bigfoot is carrying the plague and is killing all these. Basically, have videos of like all these animals and stuff that have like some nasty disease on them. They basically figure out that it's Bigfoot that's carrying around this plague, and for some reason, Sam Elliott is not affected because they tested his blood, and apparently he's not affected by the disease. So like, heard about your stories in the war. My grandpa used to sit me down on his knee and tell me about the man who killed Hitler, and blah blah blah. So they basically he ends up going to the middle of the Canadian wilderness and tracking down Bigfoot. And honestly, for like the movie that's Bigfoot's in the title, it's not that much of the movie.
Right.
It's really like probably like 20 to 30 minutes of the movie of like I think it was like a 2-hour movie. It's like 30 minutes of it is him like taking down Bigfoot, and then he comes back, and it's kind of like I don't know, it's one of those movies where it's like the epilogue feels a little too long. But I mean, it's wrapping up his whole character arc of basically him coming to terms with the fact of like what he did and like who he is as a person, and like what the military had him do, and kind of like trying to come to the terms with like the choices that he's made, and like but it was an interesting little movie. I enjoyed it a lot. It looks quite good. And Sam Elliott's great. I love Sam Elliott and everything that he's in. So I'd recommend it. It's definitely a slow burn though. So I mean, that was the biggest thing for me. It was like I just perused a couple of reviews after I watched it, and it was like, if you go with the expectations that it's gonna be like a fucking action movie where you've got like Sam Elliott like fucking going like SEAL Team 6 after Bigfoot, it's like it's not that. So if you go in expecting that, you're going to be disappointed, and I think that's what I saw from a lot of people. But if you kind of go in knowing that it's like it's a character study of this guy and his journey and like him coping with decisions that he's made, I think it's a really well done movie. And Sam Elliott, I mean, carries it obviously. So.
Yeah, that I remember when that came out, I thought I'm never gonna watch that, and because I honestly like I'm sure it's fine. I kind of wish it was actually what you said people thought it was,
Yeah, I mean, I
because
kind
that
of wish it was
sounds more
too, but
fun, honestly.
yeah,
Like I want like Sam Elliott, Bigfoot, Rambo. Like
yeah,
that sounds a little more cool to me. I'm sure
hmm
it's perfectly fine the way it is, but clearly an indie movie. Like
yeah,
does that such an indie movie thing to do? Like
hmm
title it like that title and then have it
yeah,
not be that at all. That's such an indie thing to do.
yeah,
Because if it was like a fucking blockbuster, it'd be like the title would be different. The title would be something
yeah.
like
That's true.
what's the character's name in the movie? Do you
Uh,
remember?
fuck, can't remember.
It'd be like Hunter Declan. No,
Yeah,
Bigfoot a killer, or Bigfoot Hunter, or something like that.
something like that.
That's
Yeah.
cool. What else have you checked out besides the man who killed
So
Hitler and Bigfoot?
the man who killed Hitler and Big. So the other big thing that I talked about, Hololive English VTubers.
Oh yeah. I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched all their debut streams. I watched some of their collabs. They had their second collab yesterday. Um, and I watched, I didn't watch everything that they did, but I watched a couple of their streams. Just, if I'm playing like a game or something, like just have it in the background, just something to listen to. But I actually like all of them a lot. They all have great, interesting characters to them, which I think is great. So you've got the Reaper girl, who is actually um, she is actually really into like Japanese internet rap, and so she's actually like a rapper, and she's submitted some pretty decent bars out here. But she's released a couple of songs. Like she has her own EP that she released. It's pretty good. I like, especially one of her songs a lot. It's a little bit slower, but I really like the vibe to it a lot. Um, so watch a couple of her streams. She's great. The other one is so you've got her. Her name is Maury. So she's the Reaper rapper. Uh, you've got the Phoenix girl, who is almost like, I don't want to say this because it feels kind of rude, because I do like her, but she's almost like the more generic of the five of them.
Right.
Where it's like, I don't know, as far as like, I feel like she's the traditional
Zach, let me stop you real quick.
VTuber type of thing.
Um,
Yeah.
it's not insulting
Okay.
because she's not real. So like
God damn it, Jason. There are real women
you're
behind
like
these
you're adding like
avatars.
emotion. Like if you're trying to say I don't want to insult the actress, I'd be like, copy, I got you. But you didn't. You said I don't want to. Like you're like worried about her feelings. She's not real.
She's a real person.
And real quick,
There's a real person behind the
I want
avatar.
you to continue on, but I want to add something real quick to this discussion because I told you I was gonna like check it out, so I like understood a little better as to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So I saw a couple Japanese clips on YouTube,
Okay.
and they were subbed, but I really wasn't reading it. It just
Mhm.
sounded like anime. But
Yeah.
then I looked at some of the English speaking ones,
hmm
just mostly the Sherlock character or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was, I guess it was the first stream, so it was like nothing really happened. It was just like her talking.
Yeah, all of their debut streams, there really was just, I mean, there wasn't much because it was just them introducing themselves and like going over, as a character, their personalities and
Yeah.
their interests and stuff.
But then I was watching what's her name? The girl who's dating the YouTuber who's dating Giguk.
Oh, fuck,
So
Sid's name.
I watched one of her videos. I think maybe one of her recent videos,
Mm-hmm.
where and this was not planned. It just happened to be in the video, where
Mm-hmm.
she like was buying a bunch of like weird shit. Like she always buys weird shit, I guess.
Yeah.
And one of them was like like a VTuber like item, like where like you can
Okay.
based on one of the popular VTubers in Japan,
Okay.
like a fleshlight type something like that or whatever, like a
Okay.
sex item. And I was
Interesting.
like, okay. So I had faith in humanity, which I normally don't, because I'm a pessimistic person by nature.
Right.
Where like I had faith that we weren't gonna make it weird,
Mm-hmm.
but clearly it's
I mean,
already
clearly,
it's that level. It's
it's
been that,
it's yeah,
and like it's been that level for a long time. Like
always has been.
clearly, I didn't think it was gonna be that, But it is
Yeah.
clearly. But so how was the rest of the stream?
So the rest of them, so yeah, so Kiara's, she's an interesting character, but yeah, I mean, I felt like she was the more traditional of the five of them, and I feel like it kind of I feel like it kind of reflected in their subscriber counts because honestly, a lot of them like the two that I like the most are Ninome, the Eldritch Octopus girl, and then you've got the Shark girl, and she's the blown up the most. Like she's the one that was like, I mean, at this point they've all have over 200,000 subscribers on all their YouTube channel. Just like, congrats to them. I mean, it's awesome that they've been blowing up so much. I mean, in like a week they did what most people strive to do in like 5 years.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, if anything, it shows you the. Uh, uh, if anything, I'm not saying they're not being creative, because for sure.
mm,
But not only does it show that they're being creative and there's a good team behind this business
mm,
to create something to fill a void, but
yeah.
also it shows you I don't know what's the right way to say it. I'm like,
You could just say it.
no, I can't find the right word.
Okay.
If anything, it shows you also, because I scroll through comments first before I do anything.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it also shows you the lonely nature of men
Mm.
in 2020. Not you per se, but like other like people like Zach. If we were at a convention and you were wearing like a VTuber shirt, people would
Mm.
judge you immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
Not for good or bad, being like, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I know either this guy's gonna fall into this category of
Mm-hmm.
VTuber fan,
Yeah.
or the other category.
Right.
And the comments are a lot of the latter.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
And nothing, no one comes out more for subscribers or donations.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee, dude. Like, if Change.org activists had the source of sad lonely men, they would back everything in like within a day.
That's true.
Because they'd be
That's
like,
true.
if you came out like, hey, you know what, insert one Twitch person's fan base, like
Mm-hmm.
but hey guys, we need to change. I'm tired of water bottles. We gotta get rid of them. I need a million
Tell you what, man,
signatures.
Starbucks could use that shit when they're like, "Oh, we're tired of plastic straws. We need the sippy cups."
Do you know what's funny? Speaking of,
Huh?
I went to Starbucks yesterday. I don't go to Starbucks ever, really. But
I haven't been in forever. Now.
my girlfriend and I were out shopping, and I was like, yeah, I want Starbucks. So we went to Starbucks drive-through, and then
Mm-hmm.
they handed me the pumpkin spice thing for her with a straw,
Mm-hmm.
and then they handed me my iced coffee. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, can I have a straw, extra straw, please? And the guy was like, yeah, here, hand me one. And I'm driving away, and she's like, well, why did you get two straws? Because they gave you a sipper cup thing. And I was like, what? I was like, oh. So I like,
Yeah.
why are they doing this now? And she's like, oh, because it's preserve
It's
environment or
because of.
whatever.
It's exactly because of this reason. It's because a lot of people saw the videos of the turtles that have
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
plastic straw stuck up their nose, and everybody's like, "We need to get rid of plastic straws."
But I was like, so so to this guy, he must think that I got the cup. Was
Mm.
like, oh, this thing? Fuck you. Give me a straw.
Fuck this thing. Give me the straw.
Give me a straw. I'm gonna put the straw into the fucking hole.
Honestly, for me, it's like I don't know. I don't really care too much about the straw thing because, like, for me, it's like the way I drink drinks is I always drink from the lip anyway. So
Mm,
for me, you're gonna give me something that makes it easier for me to do that. I'm all there for it.
yeah,
So
yeah. I didn't need the straw. I didn't even need a straw. I thought that
yeah,
I thought I needed a straw.
right.
I mean that's why I got it. Um, and it's funny because like no, this is not related to the podcast at all. But people are like, people we know, people on the internet, people in the world, people on the planet, are
Yeah,
like, we gotta make this planet better for the future. And I'm
yeah.
like, nah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Nah, it's okay.
It's
It'll be all right. It'll be all right.
yeah.
Also, like, why do I care what happens to the planet after I die? Like, why do I care? I'm not gonna be here.
What about your kiddos?
They'll survive. They'll be raised by me. they'll
That's
they'll
true.
figure it out. If it's fucking the road, I can't help them anyways.
That's true.
Well, if it's Mad Max, what's the best thing I do? Teach them how to fucking filter gasoline or how to fucking
Yeah, you better
not
teach
use
them how to fucking
straws.
drive if it's fucking Mad
Right.
Max.
So I'm gonna be teaching them better skills like how to siphon gas and how to load a gun. I'm
How
not
to make
worried.
a Molotov
Yeah, I'm not
cocktail.
worried about fucking. Hey, if it's Mad Max out there, make sure you put your fucking bottles in this bin, not that bin.
Yeah,
I don't care.
good point.
And it's not like that's gonna start Mad Max.
No,
Oh
the
no.
water, the no water was what starts Mad Max.
Also,
As soon
like,
as we run out of water.
I'm also just kind of like a natural devil's advocate of life, where like if I'm throwing away something even though I work,
Mhm.
and there'll be like three bins, like
Yeah,
next to each other, and one will be like trash, and one's
yeah.
like bottles, plastic, and I'm like, excuse me, you're telling me where I can put my empty Coke bottle? Guess what? Trash. Good luck figuring it out.
Ah,
So VTubers.
so VTubers. So yeah, the Phoenix Girl. One of my personal favorites was the Octopus Girl. Her name is Ina. She's great. She's a fantastic drawer. Her and Mori are great drawers. I watch one of her drawing streams. It's like, fuck, dude. I wish I could fucking draw like that. It's like,
Right.
it's really clean, and I mean, she does it like she did. I don't know. Hold on. Maybe I can show it to you real quick. One of her drawings. She did this in like, I don't know how fast she did it, but I mean, she did it really fucking quick. Hold on, give me a second. But it was like so she had a drawing screen, so she's great. I really like I just like her personality a lot. She's got a very like comfortable vibe to it, and like her, because all of them have background music too, and it's just like
Right.
it just gives off a very like comforting atmosphere. It's just like something where it's like, kind of what I talked about, where it's just very easy to just like put that on and like
Right.
be able to be able to just relax. Hold on. So this is like part of her drawing stream. I don't know if I can send you a time code or not, but hold on. Let's see. I want to show you like the finished drawing.
Well,
Where
if you
does it
can't
get to?
send time code, you can just tell me, and I can scroll to it real quick.
Let me try
Excuse
it.
me.
Let me try to find it. All right, this is close. This is pretty close. Oh, that's oh, there we go. All right. It's like 28:30 is the time code.
Okay.
Let's see. This is just like one of her drawings. She ended up drawing like everybody at one point, but
All right, let's pull this up and
I think
look.
she does have one. Oh, she does when she like has all of her drawings together. Hold on. Let me put that in there too. Right around, yeah.
28, 30.
She's got that, and if you scroll to like an hour in 5 minutes, she's got like all four of the drawings that she did, and she's got them like all placed together. And I mean, like they're really, really good art. I mean, it's really, really solid looking. So, but so yeah, I enjoy her a lot. Um,
Yeah, she's pretty good.
yeah. Um, and then
I mean, anime stuff, anime style. Like it's very
yeah.
anime style, yeah, but it
Oh
looks
yeah. I
good.
mean, I haven't seen anything. I mean, so far I've only seen her. I know she did another pure drawing stream that was like 2 hours, but I didn't get a chance to look at that one yet. But she did like another drawing collab with Reaper Girl, and I mean it was the same type of style. So I mean, clearly that's like her strong suit. I don't know. I'm interested to know if she was able to like do other drawings outside of that. But I mean, even for doing the anime style, I mean it looks really really solid.
I
Um,
love one of the comments I just saw
hmm.
is Hollow Live. Is it Hollow Live N? How do they pronounce it?
I just say Hololive N because it just means English,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Hollow Live N has awakened the level of simp in me that I never thought possible. I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Oh my god, dude. It was so they also I'll get to the rest of the girls in a bit, but because there's only two left. But they also unlocked their super chats this week. Um I swear to God, dude, these guys are like the most insane fucking people. Like the first one that I watched was the Reaper girl. She had it was just basically like an announcement stream that like super chats are open.
Yeah.
I could not you could not watch that stream for more than 5 seconds without like just seeing a wall
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
colors from all of these people giving them money. And I was like, how the fuck do all of you fuckers have all this goddamn money?
Maybe they just work at, because in my mind, which is it's a bad stereotype to have because it's not
Mm,
true. In
mm,
my mind, a bunch of these guys are like Pizza Hut delivery drivers,
mm.
and I would go and say like I'm sure a fourth of them are maybe,
Yeah.
but I think the other three fourth are like dudes who are like computer programmers or like well paid guys
Mm-hmm.
who, this is me not being a psychologist, this is me just fucking being a dickhead, who just don't talk to chicks,
Yeah.
because who just don't talk to chicks. And I'm sure there's the guys who do and just like happen like this, but like
Mm.
there's another comment here that says with 200 likes, those and nods are honestly so addicting.
Yeah. Well, it was like I saw a clip this week of somebody did a compilation of all of her like mms and nods, and they were like the cult of the and I was like, I mean it's cute, but like I don't know, I'm not like obsessed with it or anything like that. I don't know. I don't know if I need like a whole like super cut of like all of her mms.
Yeah, it's just also like, I don't know, man. It's a level of weirdness.
Mm,
Um, like there's comments being like a cool stream, chill stream. Like,
mm-hmm.
that's perfectly fine. I'm all about that.
No.
I'm all about that because I'm sure it is. Like
Mm,
drawing is usually pretty cool to watch, you
mm-hmm.
know. And I'm gonna correlate what this particular stream is into something that I watched in a second. Um, but there's also comments here I'm looking at on the same video you sent me, where
Yeah.
it's just dudes. I'm assuming dudes.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's chicks here too,
Mm-hmm.
but just
The
dudes,
lonely guys.
lonely guys, lonely
Yeah.
boys who just are out here trying to simp and like get attention from a not real person.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously that's not what you're doing when you watch this, so I understand that. And when I
Mm-hmm.
make these little rude comments, it's not about you, Zach. I know it's not
I
about
know.
you.
I know it is.
It's about these
I know it's
guys
not.
who are creepy,
Yeah.
and whether that's of their own fault or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess some of them would probably be like nice guy syndrome, be like the world made me this way, you know.
Some people, yeah, nice guys. Ugh.
Um,
It's entirely
but I
possible.
wanted
But
to segue real quick. It's something that I was watching this week
mm-hmm.
because if you watch this whole stream or if you watched this stream and and enjoyed it, I think you should check out what I was watching this week.
Okay.
Couple things real quick before we get to more of what you've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
because it relates to this pretty well.
Okay.
I randomly on YouTube found, because I watch a lot of figure reviews, a lot of toy reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I buy a lot of toys and stuff and figures. Um, and I found a guy on YouTube who, I guess he was a toy customizer. So
Okay.
he would take figures and then he would like put clay and like mold and stuff and like making them into new figures or make them into other figures.
Interesting.
So I saw one video of this guy who, yeah, he would like take an old figure, like break it, whatever, and sculpt with it and around it into like other, completely other figures. Like one
Huh.
figure he made, he took a Spider-Man figure, like broke it into a position and like glued the body, added some clay, and made it from
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man into Ace from One Piece. And, like, clayed it,
Damn. All
painted
right.
it, all that kind of stuff. So I saw that, but then I saw another guy, or I saw the same guy. He did that, and then he started just sculpting from pure clay. Like
Mm-hmm.
he would draw a picture of a character, and
Mm-hmm.
anime mostly, or print one out, and then he would
Mm-hmm.
look at it. He would draw like the wireframe, and then he would just start sculpting. Like
Damn.
no base. He just sculpt it, and then he would have it done, and he would paint it, and then paint it white, and then paint it the color,
Damn.
and he would just sculpt it from scratch. And one guy added like commentary to it, explain what he was doing, and he's from Asia, Korea, or something like that. He would have like funny
Mm-hmm.
subtitles. Another guy I saw who was better, same
Mm-hmm.
thing, would like sculpt from nothing, like have a drawing, and then he would just sculpt and time lapse it. And the one guy,
I wish I had a talent like that. It was just like it was like watching that and like hearing about that. It's just like I suck at art. I'm
like
fucking terrible.
this one guy, the guy who's better at it. There's one guy, I can't remember what the other guy's name is, but the guy who I think is better at it is this guy named Dr. Garuda, and I'll send you a video real quick, and
Okay.
it's like, and obviously like the finished paint jobs aren't professional because it's not. I'm sure these people work in the business, especially this guy
Hmm.
has to work at a company sculpting, but like
Right.
obviously the paint jobs aren't always perfect because he's painting on clay, not on like resin or whatever. But like just I sent you a video of him doing some KOF stuff.
Okay.
Go to like 14 minutes into the video, and you can see like he's painting the figures, and then obviously if you scroll farther in, you'll see the finished piece. And like
Damn,
he
dude.
made it from scratch. You can like go to the beginning of the video and see him start from scratch.
That's pretty fucking insane.
Like if you like you 14 minutes or at
Hmm.
17:03, you see both pictures in the diorama, both figures. It's no Iori and Kyo. And then if you go to fucking minute 142, you see him starting it. Like he clearly sculpts the whole
Fuck, dude.
thing.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of these videos and just being amazed
Goddamn,
at
dude.
how good like people have ability. You know,
Yeah, man. The fucking some of the artists in this world, dude, are like fucking insane.
because
Like I
like
just can't.
I remember like I went to art school, right?
Hmm.
Like I went to school for film and animation, and I was never good. Like never good at. I was good at editing and shooting, and like that's obviously why I was a photog for a while.
Hmm.
So I can shoot, and I can edit, and I can color correct and do audio, but I could never like draw that well, even though I was animation stuff.
Yeah.
So there are people in my classes who are just like have been drawing every day since they were fucking 5, and are
Yeah.
just way better, just better, like just leagues better.
Hmm.
I remember like my professor was like, okay, the nature of this program isn't really to get you guys jobs. It's to get you
Yeah.
guys to go to SCAD. And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm not going to SCAD. Like this is straight up. I'm not paying 120 grand to go to SCAD to draw like the way that I fucking draw. Or
Yeah.
or go to film school when I can just do it now.
Yeah.
And then I watch these sculpting videos and I'm like, dude, could you imagine like one of the comments I saw was like, guy looks at shelf of figures. Eh, I feel like I want this figure. Looks at eBay. Nah. It
Nah.
just fucking makes it.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh,
So speaking
goddamn, dude.
in relation to the drawing thing,
Yeah. No, that's super cool. I actually kind of want to check those out because yeah, that's
you
like
should, man. They're cool.
that's part of that stuff that yeah, it's just like watching people create stuff, especially stuff from scratch like that is just like it's so calming and it's also just like I just wish I had some artistic ability like that to be able to do something like that from like scratch. Where it was like
Yeah.
who was like Maury, the rapper girl, she was talking about how she wants to do a stream where she like basically is like gonna go through and like make like a beat and a song like from scratch. And I was just like, fuck, dude, like being able to like have that like mental process of being able to determine like, okay, I want this beat to go here, I want this festival to be this high, and like having that kind of like just like the mental gymnastics that you have to do to be able to like do artistic stuff like that is just like something I can never wrap my head around.
Oh yeah.
I love being able to watch other people like create and like be in their element in their craft. It's
Well,
something
I
so
remember
inspiring.
like probably 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to start making my own designer toys.
Mm-hmm.
And designer toys, for anyone who doesn't know, and Zach, if you don't know, are pretty much just like they're like figures made by like indie people,
Mm-hmm.
small batch runs, and a lot of them are vinyl or soft vinyl or sofubi for Japanese stuff
Mm-hmm.
or like resin. So a lot of these guys and girls like you design it yourself, you sculpt it in clay and then you cast it in like silicone, like all so I had all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, cool. I drew out a little character like skull thing I wanted to make just for myself a batch run to see how I liked it or not, and then if I got better, cool. So I drew it and I tried sculpting the skull, and it was so fucking difficult.
Yeah.
It looked like complete shit. And so I was like, fuck it, it's a skull. I can tell it's a skull. So I casted it. I had like 2 scopes of it, and I was like, dude, this is like, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And like every time I look at these videos, I was watching a channel called Ace of Clay, and I'm like,
Hmm.
and he like scopes more like Tim Burton-y stuff, and he like does like
Hmm.
lessons or stuff too. Apparently, I saw a couple of videos like for beginners, and I was like I would love to commit time to this,
Yeah.
but there's no way that I
Yeah.
fucking would,
Yeah.
because something as easy as me sitting down and trying to play Tekken, I'm like, I'll just never be good at Tekken. Like, it's just whatever,
Yeah.
fine. It's just fine, whatever.
Hmm.
All right, but sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Um, so, oh yeah, so Ina drawer, she's great. I'll probably keep checking her out. So then you have Gura, who is the shark girl. Um, she's just super cute and wholesome. I like her a lot. She is a big rhythm game player, and I like watched one of her rhythm game streams, and I was like, "Fuck me, dude! I can never fucking play some shit like that." Or she was like, I can't remember what it was like. It's called like Moose Dash or something like that. I'd never seen it before. It looked like a 2-button rhythm game, but I was like watching her play it, and I was like, I know I would immediately fuck up because like I played Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I know I can't do more than like medium. Like that was I couldn't even
Oh,
do like the
really?
fifth. I couldn't even do hard because for me the and maybe it's just because I didn't practice enough, but it was like the motion of like moving from like
Yeah.
4 fingers down to the bottom to moving to 4 fingers back up to the top is just like it was something that I just could never wrap my head around. So it was
Oh,
like
okay.
always I was a medium boy always. So
Oh no, I was expert.
yeah,
I had to be because
no,
all our friends played expert, so I had to
yeah,
had to get up there.
yeah. I probably if I'd probably had more people that like had played expert around me,
Because
I probably would have forced myself, but
nothing looks dumber than playing Rock Band. Like, you have
oh
all
yeah.
these fast ass tracks and then this slow ass
slow
track.
slow as well, it was
Yeah.
like I think there was one time when we did that back when we went to like the youth Sunday thing. It was like they had a I think they had a rock band set up, and so like there was times when we would play rock band before the service started, and it was that same thing where it was like me and my brothers would be playing like medium on like
Yeah.
whatever instrument we were on, and then there would be one guy who'd be playing like expert. We
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we looked like such fucking chumps next to this guy who's like on the
Exactly.
drums doing like, and we're
Yeah.
just like ting 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 ting
Oh
ting.
yeah, man.
Ah, but
That's just practice, though.
yeah, but yes, she's great, so I love her. And then Watson was the last girl. I like her personality a lot. Super great. Um, she seems like she would be the meme lord of the group.
Mm.
Uh, so I'm interested to keep watching her stuff. She plays a lot of FPS stuff too. Like I think she's done 2 streams now of Valorant, which I've never played.
I've never
Um,
played it. Yeah.
I think it's the Riot Games arena shooter, right? Is it Riot Games or who does
That's
it?
yeah. That's, I don't know who makes the game, but that's that like CS:GO with powers or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, something like it's like a different version of Overwatch, but like it's like Overwatch but CS:GO
Yeah.
um instead of whatever. But so yeah, so she's been playing that. She played a little bit of Apex, so she seems like and those streams are interesting to watch. So yeah, so those were the girls. I really liked all of them. They all have their individual strong points, but they're definitely some standouts for me from the rest. So
That's cool.
yeah, so that was the last big thing
Okay.
that I checked out. What else have you been watching, Jason?
Nothing much, man. I'm still reading One Piece. I'm almost caught up to it. I'm like 50 chapters away from being caught up, and I don't really want to catch up.
Okay.
I like having a big buffer,
Yeah.
but I probably will because I want to know what happens. So I'm still reading One Piece, and then I'm watching a couple old shows.
Hmm.
One show I never heard before until recently, and that's a show from 1990 to 93 called Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And I'm in a
Never
Facebook
heard of
group
that.
for a podcast that I listen to called Yes Have Some, which is like a Ghostbusters,
Hmm.
Jurassic. It's like a '90s pop. Pretty much everyone in this podcast, that group I listen to, or I'm in on Facebook, they're pretty
Hmm.
much like 35-year-olds. Like they're like
Okay.
10 years older than me, 8 years older than me. So their focus of pop culture is all stuff from the '90s. And obviously you and
Hmm.
me are 2000s. Um, but so I posted this picture. I was like, hey guys, I've never heard of this show before. I saw it just on Instagram.
Hmm.
I just started watching the first episode. It's really good. And everyone was like, I love that show. Like, that show's fucking awesome. Parker Lewis can't
Okay.
lose. But it's pretty much Ferris Bueller. It's Ferris
Okay.
Bueller, where, like, the main character, Parker Lewis, is, like, cool kid, and he has a group of friends who help him run a little business where he, like, sells, like, candy and stuff like that, even though that's never really focused on. But he's, like, a cool Ferris
Hmm.
Bueller kid. Everyone knows who he is, and he just can't lose.
Okay.
Like, everything that happens to him, guess what? He figures out. He has a principal who wants to get him expelled because she hates him and he sucks. But guess what? He just can't lose. And it's really fun. And the main character of the show is um, plays in Stargate SG-1. Literally the season I saw. If you remember a couple months ago, 6 months ago, I was rewatching SG-1,
I do
and
remember.
I remember on the podcast I said that I stopped watching it because that's when the character Daniel leaves for a
Hmm.
season, and they bring in a guest character to be part of the team for a season.
Hmm.
Well, that guest character for the season is literally
Huh?
Parker Lewis, and
Okay.
I was like, that's it's a sign.
It's a sign.
I have to finish watching Parker Lewis 3 seasons and then go back and finally finish watching SG-1.
Have to get through SG1.
It's fun though. It's super '90s. The fashion is obviously super '90s. It's 1990,
Yeah.
so a lot of '80s fashion still. It's a
Okay.
really fun show, man. It's on Crackle for free. It's really fun. It's Ferris Bueller, and apparently I didn't know this. All the
Hmm.
comments, because these people are my elders in this
Yeah.
Facebook group. Again, the podcast is called Yes Have Some. It's really good.
Hmm.
They're like, yeah, this show was what the Ferris Bueller TV show wanted to be. And I was like, hold on, excuse
Wait,
me.
there's a Ferris Bueller TV show?
There is one. It ran for one season. Guess who plays Ferris Bueller's sister? Just guess. Anybody. '90s stars.
Uh, uh, fuck. I can't. I don't know.
Jennifer Aniston.
Wait, what the fuck?
She plays his older sister for the show.
Jennifer Aniston? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
I watched the opening of the first episode just to see what it was,
Hmm.
and it's not good. And it got canceled, and
Hmm.
everyone said it sucks because it sucked. Like the
Okay.
main character who plays Ferris is just not. There's no like. He's
Doesn't
not.
have that Matthew Broderick
He's
energy.
not Matthew Broderick. Whereas like no, I loved Weird Science, the TV
Hmm.
show, and while those guys are not the same characters that are like portrayed like style, like they're different acting,
Hmm.
it's still not bad. Like it's still pretty good.
Okay.
And there was a Bill and Ted TV show,
I saw that.
and that clearly was very bad.
Yeah. Clearly
But
very
Parker Lewis apparently was like the Ferris Bueller show that they wanted to make,
bad. Hmm.
and it's pretty good. So I'm watching that,
Okay.
and the other show I'm watching, which is more our era of TV,
Okay.
aka the late '90s, early 2000s.
Hmm.
It's a show called Big Wolf on Campus, which I've mentioned before. It's
I think I've heard of it before.
yeah, it's a Canadian show that aired on ABC Family, Fox Family. It's like a comedy, teenage horror, monster of the week show. It's all. I started rewatching it because the Canadian channel that owns it, the rights to it, started putting every episode on YouTube. So the entire run
Oh.
of the show is on YouTube, and it's called Big Wolf on
Okay.
Campus, and it's pretty much about the jock of the high school quarterback, which I was like Canadian football or football, I can't tell, but he's a quarterback, and he's camping with his bros before his senior year of high school.
Hell yeah, broskies, man.
Yeah, and
Keep it up.
He gets bit by a werewolf, and he's like, oh no, and he becomes like a werewolf, and very much in the sense of like Teen Wolf.
I was about to
And
say, it kind of sounds like Teen Wolf.
it's very similar. It's completely pulled from Teen Wolf, and it's different in the sense that like he fights like ghosts and vampires, like various creatures come to his town. He has to like defend his town, and it's like goofy
So
and
it's like Buffy
campy.
almost at that point.
Way not serious at all.
Okay, not
Like
serious at all.
Buffy's like very like dramatic and serious,
Right.
and like this is like a fucking ABC Family like. Imagine
Okay.
like early 2000s ABC Family where it's like
Okay.
not Seventh Heaven, and this is like, hey,
Not Gossip Girl?
no,
Gossip
this is
Girl.
like this, like where like he was fighting another werewolf, and he was being Michael Jackson while he was fighting them because it was a Halloween contest. So he's wearing the Thriller suit and he's like kicking the guy in the face, doing like spins on the table. It's a goofy, campy horror comedy, horror in like
Okay.
quotation marks, like Thriller. Pulls from urban fantasy stuff.
Mm.
And the main character is a jock, so he has no idea how to be a werewolf. So he has to enlist the help of the school like geek
Nerd.
guy,
Yeah.
whose name is Merton. Merton, goth guy, you know, all this kind of
Ah.
shit. And then there's a lot of interactions between the main goth guy character and his younger sister, who's a freshman, who
Mm.
is like a normal person.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you gotta don't even talk to me because I want to get through high school normal, and you're fucking like a weirdo. And he's like, listen, leave my lair, don't come back.
Leave
And she's
leave
like,
my lair.
and she's like, it's not a lair, it's the basement.
Don't make me cast a curse on you.
But their basement's like fucking like it looks like a lair. I'm not sure
Okay.
his parents are really cool and let him like deck it out with like fucking like
They just let him take
crosses
over the
and shit.
basement.
Yeah. So it's a fun show, and I remember watching it a lot as a kid and really enjoying it. And it's still fun. It's not a good show,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a fun, campy, like, hey, you know what? I'll watch a couple episodes here and there for 22 minutes.
Yeah.
And, nostalgia.
For sure, dude.
So, Big Wolf on Campus, I've been watching that. And then lastly, I was watching a couple episodes of one of my favorite tokusatsu shows called Space Sheriff Gavan,
Okay.
which is the theme song I used this week because the theme song of the show is essentially
Okay.
JoJo's first theme song. It sounds
Oh.
just like it. It's not as good, but it sounds pretty close.
JoJo's got some good fucking opening songs.
Well,
God damn
it
it.
sounds like the first JoJo song, the best one.
Okay.
So Gavin,
I don't know, man. I'm really, really a fan of Part 4's first opening.
I don't remember what that sounded like.
Crazy, noisy, bizarre town.
I remember,
Crazy, noisy, bizarre town. Burr, 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 burr. I can't remember how
Yeah,
the beat
but
goes. But
I remember the name, but I don't remember the song. But nothing's better than fucking.
I mean, part one's opening is really, even though part one is not that great. Part one's opening
No,
is really
part one's
great.
opening is amazing because it's like
Yeah.
fucking like gets you hyped for the episode.
Yeah.
That was one of the only seasons of anything.
Also, part two has like one of the best openings. Fucking Bloody Stream is like fantastic.
I couldn't tell you what it was
Oh my god. Holy fuck.
because to
God
me,
damn it.
season one of that show is one of the only anime of all time where I actually watched every episode's opening with that theme song.
Yeah.
When they changed it, I stopped caring. But that was
Bloody
like
Stream is a fantastic theme song.
I don't
can't believe
remember
you
what it
don't know.
was. Season
Okay.
2, Stardust
Season 2.
or the,
Yeah, Joseph. No. Season 2, Joseph.
the all right.
This opening is fantastic. Hold on. I can't believe you don't remember this opening.
It must not be that good then.
Oh my god. I'm like, I have it down low and I'm already like about to start fucking jamming out to it. It's so good.
Oh,
It's like
and
one of
this
my
one's
favorite
fine, yeah.
It is. I like it a lot. A lot.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I like this one, but it's not.
Well, I mean, part one opening is so good that when it came to season 2 of Stardust, they just did the same fucking opening again.
Exactly.
It's like almost the same opening.
Because they understood that. Listen, we have to get you hyped for what's about to happen, and what was more hyped than that fucking song?
And that song was really, really high.
So, Space Sheriff Gavin, Tokusatsu show, 1981. It's about space cop.
Okay.
That's it. Space cop comes to
Space
Earth.
Cop.
He's fighting monsters, and it's rad. And it's so good. The practical effects are great. Special effects are great.
Mm-hmm.
Storytelling is very 80s Japan. The haircuts, style.
Yeah.
Like the main character wears like a brown leather jacket and then white leather pants and then brown leather cowboy boots. It's cool. I mean, he's great. The henshin sequences are cool. Monsters look great. His costume's great. It's part of the Metal Heroes series, which is essentially tokusatsu with super intense armor.
Okay.
Like big bad Beetleborgs were based on a Metal Hero
Oh,
series
big bad Beetleborgs. Oh.
called JUCO B Fighter. But this is great. I love Gavan. I've seen it a couple times. Um, so and actually I was watching the original Beetleborgs for Japan. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's called JUCO B Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not many subs for it. It's like the subgroup who's doing it's only on episode 16, I think. Different. It's different. I've never seen it before. It's different from Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Okay.
It's very different. Real quick before and we go into news,
Okay.
the original show for Big Bad Beetleborgs,
Yeah.
the premise is this: there are aliens
Okay.
attacking Earth,
Okay.
and the insects of the planet start to defend Earth from the aliens. Like they in
Okay.
swarms attack the aliens.
Okay.
Meanwhile, to figure out why the insects are acting weird, a bunch of like an alien, like a bug entomologist person is like walking through the woods with some other scientists, and he stumbles upon a insect spirit,
Okay.
like a little
So it
bug.
has nothing to do with a blue ghost that
No,
lives in a
it's
haunted
like
house.
a beetle, like this big, like a 3 foot beetle sage with like a
Okay.
little, and he's like talking to him with like a mustache or a beard or something. He's like, "There's monsters coming, and the insects will defend the planet." And then the guy's like, "Well, we're gonna help too." And they start working on building like these cybernetic machines, like armor,
Huh.
and they just can't get it to work. But then
Okay.
the sage appears and goes, "I can see that you guys are better than most human beings. You try and take care of the planet, so I will infuse your armors with insect spirit DNA, and that makes the suits complete, and that becomes the JUCO B fighters, the heavy shell, no, beetle
Okay.
fighters." And then they henshin and they fight aliens.
Okay.
So it's different from Big Bad Beetleborgs,
Yeah.
which is about Elvis Ghost,
Yes. And three
who,
children.
and I can't remember
Were,
Big Bad Beetleborgs. Like, so they wish to become Beetleborgs because of the comic book, but were there
yes.
already? So did the bad guys in that show, were they already around, or did they become Beetleborgs, which then in turn made the bad guys become real?
I
You know what I'm saying? Like,
cannot remember. It's a good question, but I can't remember.
but also like,
I want to assume that because they became Beetleborgs, the enemies became real.
I
But
don't know, man.
then at that point, it's like I don't know. Why would you want to become a Beetleborg if you have no enemies to fight? That doesn't make any sense.
Also, I hated Beetleborgs as a kid, not because the suits look great.
Suits look
The
fucking
suits are awesome.
rad.
It's the fact that they were so young.
Yeah.
Like they weren't like Power Rangers age. They were like younger than Power Rangers age.
Yeah.
I'm like, so they could never they could never fight a lackey
Mhm.
by themselves because one they
Yeah, they
never
always had to be
did.
in the suits. Yeah.
Always had to be in the suits. Um, but do you remember the first episode where you saw the white Beetleborg?
Dude, I can't remember. All I remember is all I remember is red, green, and blue Beetleborgs. That's all
Yeah.
I got.
You remember the second season? They changed colors.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. They changed colors. Gold, something else.
Huh.
Changed colors.
Interesting.
Also, real quick before we move in the news,
Hmm.
I didn't watch this episode, but I skimmed through it. The first episode of a show called, oh gosh, Gridman, the original Gridman Tokusatsu show, not the cartoon.
Oh, I was about to say because I think I talked about the cartoon when I watched it because they did the anime for it.
Well,
I
so
think last
the
year.
Sentai, because it's based on a Sentai show. It's
Yeah.
called Denko Chojin Gridman,
Okay.
which is about these kids who go into a computer system to fight this like evil virus guy. And they
Hmm.
made it in America when we were kids, and I can't remember what it was called.
Wait, was this the VR Troopers?
No, VR
Okay.
Troopers was,
Because I remember JonTron did a video on VR
yeah, no,
Troopers.
VR Troopers was like they used like 3 different series together, or
Interesting.
two different series, 2 different tokusatsu together to make VR Troopers. No, the Gridman adaptation was called Gridman the Hyper Agent. And it
Hmm.
ran from 90. Let's see when it ran in America. Hold on. It ran from Oh no, in America it's called Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, all with S's. That's what it was called in America, and it ran from one full season of 53 episodes.
Okay.
Um, Dick Productions, DIC Productions, and yeah,
Never heard of it.
I watched
Wow.
it a lot as a kid. I watched everything that had guys in costumes as a kid. I
Mhm.
watched so Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I watched Mass Rider. I watched
I had no
VR
idea that Gridman
Troopers.
was an actual tokusatsu series though, because I
Yeah,
knew. I mean, I knew the anime was like. I mean, clearly is heavily based on tokusatsu, but I had no idea that it was like an actual tokusatsu series that they were
yeah,
taken from.
yeah. I watched that. I never watched the anime. And I remember you mentioning it when you did.
Mm.
Um, I watched all
Anime's
these shows
great.
as a
It's
kid, man.
fantastic.
I loved all these shows as a kid, and they were so bad, like the American versions.
Hmm.
Um, but I skimmed through it because I wanted to see it, and like it brought back so many memories. Because like again, it's Tokusatsu in America, so they just cut footage and use it. So
Hmm.
like the henshin sequence is different. I remember, but like a lot of the fight scenes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this scene like
Yeah.
verbatim with very different dialogue.
Right.
But that's pretty much it. That's all I've been checking out. So
Okay. Well, that means it's time for the news. News
We
time.
got one!
time for some news. Zach, where do you want to start, man?
I mean, I guess we can start with the Mandalorian season 2. Um, it's interesting.
Okay.
Um, I'm not super hyped for season 2 like I was for season 1. And there wasn't a whole lot in this trailer that was like different per se. I mean, it basically looked like a continuation of the Mandalorian. Looks like we're gonna get more planets, more vistas,
Yeah.
which is nice. But I mean, I talked to you about this over text message, but like, this shit bugs me that I don't understand how we live in a futuristic world in a galaxy far, far away, that we have X-wings and speeder bikes and all this other shit, and we still have a fucking Mandalorian on a goddamn boat in the middle of
Yeah.
the ocean.
Yeah.
Why are you not just flying over this ocean? I don't understand it.
They're
Other
gonna
than to have the visual of like Baby Yoda like fucking around in some fucking boat shit.
they're gonna have some stupid explanation like the gravity doesn't allow you to have thrusters or something like that, or
Some fucking dog shit. I don't know.
gravitational orbs that help speeders lift aren't gonna work or something. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna have some bullshit, you know.
Also, they introduced the Jedi in this trailer, and that makes me upset. It makes me happy, and it also makes me upset. I don't
It's
know.
it's the constant thing that I never can comprehend about even George's stuff.
Hmm.
It's a debate that I've had with my dad. Not even a debate, but like it's the discussion I've had with my dad since I was a kid when he took me to episode one.
Hmm.
It's a discussion I've had after episode three when him and I saw episode three, years later.
Hmm.
It's the same thing where like how, and this you can go on YouTube and like a billion videos about this, so it's not like we're hitting on a new topic
Hmm.
or talking about some sort of like unfounded theory,
Yeah.
but it's like how in 30 years did the galaxy forget about Jedi's? And all the comments I saw like in my Facebook groups that when they posted this, or even on the comments of I think of the trailer, people
Hmm.
were like, "How did they forget the Jedi in 30 years?" And people were like, "Well, there were only like 10,000 Jedi or whatever across the
Yeah, but
galaxy.
like there was an entire fucking war that was fought with Jedi.
Well, they're only 10,000, and and then the Emperor like put out false information and blah blah blah. So most people never saw the Jedi." And I was like, "Okay, let's
Well,
say
that leads up to a similar discussion where it's, and this deals with the new sequel trilogy. And it's the biggest problem I have with The Force Awakens, which is how the fuck is everything that happened in The Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back legend when it only happened like 30 fucking years ago? That's not enough time for a
well,
legend to happen.
let's just say that there were. I don't know how many Jedi existed in the Republic.
Yeah.
You know, let's say for an instance there were only 10,000 Jedi, which I don't believe.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to have galaxy policing and you're only 10,000 strong.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Um, but let's say for what? How many Jedi were there? Google. Okay, so at the start of the purge, there were approximately 10,000 at the start of the Order 66. Okay,
Okay.
so let's say this for that's apparently according to Wikipedia. So let's say that's right. First off, logistically speaking, 10,000 Jedi for a galaxy or galaxies makes no sense.
Yeah.
Number two, even with 10,000, you have a giant fucking building in the middle of the capital of the fucking Republic.
Hmm.
You're telling me that no one. You tell me that there was never a PIO
Yeah.
for the Jedi Council who came out and would speak on issues that Jedi had to act in?
Yeah.
You tell me that never. There's no archival footage. Oh well, the Emperor deleted it. Every single thing.
Yeah.
There's no newspaper scraps. Like, come the fuck on.
I don't know, dude.
So the fact that Mandalorians, who clearly, again, I don't know Mandalorian history now because everything's been different, but like,
Well, they talk about in the trailer that they're the Jedi are the old enemies
mhm.
of the Mandalorians. Like they talk about that, but then he also talks about them as like sorcerers that he's never fucking heard the term Jedi before.
Yeah, I don't look, man. And here's the thing: in fantasy novels,
Mm-hmm.
the authors will use like our terms for things because there's no other way to describe something.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. How are you gonna say there's sorcerers and wizard and Jedi's?
Yeah.
Would it not be the same thing in this universe?
Well, I mean, the thing about that is that the thing that makes me upset about it is that he's clearly just talking about Jedi. I mean, there are sorcerers in the sense that like they're not Jedi's, but they are able to like manipulate the Force. Like
Sure.
in the Star Wars game, um, the Fallen was that what it was called? Fallen Order? Can't even remember what it's
Yeah.
fucking called now. That I played. I mean, you have the thing where it's like you have the planet where it's just
The
like
dark people or whatever.
you have the dark Sith, but they're not really Sith. They just like are able to manipulate
Well, there's like
dark
this
side of the
the Dark
Force.
Sisters or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck they're called. So I understand that,
yeah,
but to act like you would think the Mandos of anybody would very
mm-hmm.
much be like, yeah, we know they're real because
Yeah,
we have literally verbal passed on
mm-hmm.
knowledge from 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Not even like literally the Mandalorian's lifetime because we were
yeah.
assuming he's probably what.
Well, they show in fucking in the first season that like he was clearly around during the Clone Wars times because they
Right.
fucking have the one battle droids, the one with like the wrist rockets and shit like that, the
Right.
big bulky ones. Like so clearly he's alive during the Clone Wars, and like that was when the Jedi. I would say when the Jedi were like probably the most prominent in like the galaxy than they'd ever been. Like they're on every single planet fighting this proxy war.
It just makes no sense to me that we just. So this trailer, I thought it was again. I didn't finish the first season, so I
Yeah.
don't care. It
Yeah.
also I mentioned before, and I'll say it again now. I don't have a fascination with Mandalorians that other people do.
Yeah.
Other people fucking love Mandalorians.
Rocco loves
They
himself some
love
Mandalorians,
Boba
dude.
Fett. They fucking love Jango Fett. They love dudes in armor and
It's the helmet,
silver
man.
long blasters. I don't give a fuck.
It's the helmet, man.
I like Jedi's.
Yeah.
That's what I like. And I haven't had a single fucking Jedi
No.
since Disney bought this fucking brand. That's what's happened.
Yeah.
I don't give two fucks. And they want to give me a book series where we have Captain Marvel Jedi. Eat dicks. Eat
Ugh.
dicks. Don't care.
Yeah.
But it looks fine for what it is. I mean, obviously, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm sure it's gonna
You
be
get
fine.
Ahsoka, not in this trailer, but she's in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, that they're gonna have to explain away where the fuck she's been.
They'll
Where the
have some.
where
They'll
the
pull some explanation out
where
of
the
that.
fuck were you at in Last Jedi?
Well, they talked about. Well, I mean, she showed up in Rebels too, right? So didn't they have an explanation for where she was in Rebels?
Yeah, but that's Rebels is before Last Jedi.
Right.
So
Well,
where
Mandalorian takes place.
before Last Jedi?
Yeah.
So where is she at in Last Jedi?
Oh. Yeah.
Mandalorian's gonna have to explain why aren't you in Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you just not? You just don't feel the galaxies being destroyed? Like literally, the fucking Star Case base killer destroys the entire New Republic. You didn't feel that in the Force, like the
Well, Luke apparently
fluctuation.
didn't fucking feel it.
What do you mean? Well, Luke didn't give a shit
Yeah.
because
Well, he
Luke
cut
comes
himself
off from the
off.
Force, so
Well,
they have
maybe
to.
they'll have that bullshit where she cut herself off too, or some shit, because that's established now that you can just apparently disconnect yourself
Or like
from
where was she
all the
at
energy in
during
the universe.
where was she at during the original trilogy? You're just hanging out, letting
Yeah.
you knew like she knows that Darth Vader's Anakin. You're just like hanging out, like just give up.
I don't know.
You didn't. Did she know he had a kid? I don't think she knew. I don't know. I didn't finish Rebels, but
Okay, I don't know.
I have qualms with that. But
Yeah.
we'll move on.
Okay.
Let's talk about PlayStation because that's probably gonna be a big chunk of our news.
Yeah.
Um, PlayStation had their event a couple days
Yes.
ago where
Mm-hmm.
they showed a bunch of trailers for games and
A
they
lot of
announced
trailers.
prices for both their versions of the PlayStation 5.
Yes.
What main console is $499?
Main console is I
Four
think
ninety nine,
499, and
and then
then
the light version is three ninety
is
nine.
399. Which I mean that's
Versus the Xbox $499 or $299.
yeah.
Even though
I
I think,
mean,
but the
uh,
PS5 Lite version, and I say Lite version being just that's the less version, it still has better specs than the Xbox Lite version, right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know that much about specs, so I'm really all that
I
shit
thought
is
I
very
did.
confusing to me.
Yeah.
But
Well, Zach,
um,
what did you think of the event overall, and what got you excited for anything? And is it sway you because the release date is what? Isn't it like a few days after the Xbox?
I think Xbox is the 10th and PlayStation is the 12th.
Okay.
Um, honestly, this is the best event we've had for next gen stuff so far. I like this event a lot. I mean, they started off with a banger, Final Fantasy 16. That shit looked rad. I really want to fucking play that. That game looks super fucking fun. Looks like medieval fantasy Final Fantasy, which is like super cool. I'm digging that a lot. Um, it, I saw a lot of people saying like the combat reminded them of like Devil May Cry, but I mean
Mhm.
honestly, it just looks like more Kingdom Heart combat to me.
Yeah.
Um, which I guess Kingdom Heart is kind of Devil May Cry. I guess I don't know. I mean,
Eh,
for me, Devil May Cry I feel like is an emphasis on combos, which is
combos.
like
Yeah, it's
not
combos.
which is not what I was seeing in this trailer. I don't know why
Yeah.
people kept saying that.
Because it
Um,
looked fluid and people don't know that most people don't
yeah.
play Devil May Cry. Maybe I don't know. Like
Well, I would say that, but like even Maximilian called it like Devil May Cry, and he's a huge Devil May Cry fan. Like he knows what Devil May Cry combat is,
I think he
but
just
he called it a
I
Devil
think
May
he
Cry.
just couldn't
Yeah,
figure out another way to describe combat where you move
maybe,
fast and potentially fly in the air while you're doing the combos.
maybe, yeah,
Because none of the combat to me made me go DMC.
yeah. Well, that I mean, the combat made me think, oh, this is like Kingdom Hearts. It looked like Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts 2 combat, and I was like, okay, I'm down for that. Kingdom Hearts 2 is like my favorite of that whole series. I love the combat in that game. So if the combat's like that, it's gonna be great. So I had that. Next up, Spider-Man Miles looks like a Spider-Man game. Looks like the same fucking game with um, interesting powers for Miles, which is cool. I mean, he's got his like shocker stuff. He can go invisible in the middle
Yeah.
of combat, which
That
is kind
that
of cool. But
that's the shock shit was a little much.
I mean, the shock shit was like, I mean, Spider-Man in the PS4, he had the same shit where it was like, I mean, not the shocking. I mean, he had the shocking stuff where he had gadgets that you could shock people, and then he had his ground pound shit that was like the same stuff. It was
Well,
like,
I mean, Miles has a stinger, so I understand that.
yeah.
But I never thought that the stinger would be like
I
a
mean,
fucking area of effect.
it looks like in this game, it looks like they're just basically taking the same powers that like Peter Parker had, but instead of them being gadgets, they're just powers that he has.
There's a
Which
lot
I
of
find less interesting. I like that
there
Peter Parker has a bunch of gadgets and stuff.
there was so much on the screen during combat that it almost got a little too much.
There's a lot on screen,
There's a
yeah.
lot of effects on screen and moving a little quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that needs to be dialed down or not, but that looked like it was like hurting my eyes how much was on the screen.
There's a lot, yeah. There's a lot of explosions and spark flashes and stuff like that, and then
Yeah.
you've got the other stuff, which is like I don't know, like digital tech villains or some fucking weird ass bullshit. Which was, I mean, they looked cool. The powers look cool for the villains. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of effects on screen at the same time. They started off the trailer with like his mom's gonna be a politician, which I immediately groaned at. Um,
Yeah.
I hope that's not some shit where it's like
Oh,
fucking.
Zach, it's going to be.
I hope not. God damn it.
Why are you even questioning?
Because Spider-Man PS4 was not that.
Yeah, but it's a different time, dude.
I just,
It's been a year and a half, 2 years. So they got to do something.
I think they said in the thing that it takes place like a year after like Spider-Man PS4, but it's like it feels so shoehorned in, and I hate it because I know the Miles comic enough to know that she's not a politician.
Yeah,
She's
she's a
a fucking
nurse.
nurse.
Yeah.
Like I just watched Into the Spider-Verse. She's a goddamn nurse.
Well,
She's not a
listen,
politician.
man. I mean, she saw the injustices happening. She had to step up.
What the fuck's she gonna do? Her
Uh,
son's Her son's Spider-Man. At least he can do something.
Hey, that you're acting as though every man can't change the universe, man.
Fuck that shit.
Um, I think FF will look fine.
Yeah.
Spider-Man looked like Spider-Man. This Harry Potter game, dude.
That Harry Potter game looked. I mean, I'm interested in it. I mean, I didn't. I don't have. I wasn't. I don't think I'm as excited for it as you are.
Oh,
but
dude.
it definitely looks interesting to me.
Listen, man. I never thought that I was like a Harry Potter fan.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the movies.
Yeah.
Again, I've mentioned this before. I'll say it again now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only on book 3. I read probably since
It's a great time for you to finish.
Since last time I mentioned it on the podcast, I probably read 3 chapters since. So
Okay.
I'm like in the middle of the 3rd book. I'm gonna finish them at some point. Because I know that she's going to make new books even after all her controversies. I know she will. I
she's
know
in some hot water.
I know she in like 10 years she will write another book. She's still young. She's only like 50 something. I
Yeah.
know she will write more Harry Potter books or more
Yeah.
wizarding books, and I will. That's when I will fucking finish them. But I didn't
Yeah.
think that I was a huge Harry Potter fan, like for the movies, until I
Mhm.
was watching them with my girlfriend, which I mentioned in the podcast, and
Mhm.
I'm quoting like the movie before it happens. I can quote that first movie so much.
The first movie's solid.
I can quote that movie so much. And then I had to go and I went and bought a bunch of SH figure arts, like figures.
Okay.
So I have like this, and I
I
got
didn't know they had Harry Potter
yeah,
figures.
I got the Snape, I got the Harry.
Gotta get the
I'm
Harry.
only missing Ron, and I was
Okay.
gonna buy him from this person, but they're missing the wand, so I had to wait to buy
Oh, yeah.
to buy it from someone else.
Can't get it without the wand.
But this game,
It looks fun.
it's everything I want in a Harry Potter RPG, and they haven't really shown any good gameplay yet. So it could be
Not really.
trash. But the idea of an open world RPG Harry Potter, dude, you're giving me the right tools. You're giving
Yeah.
me the right vibes. I'm gonna be a Dark Wizard Hunter. It's just that simple.
I told you after I saw this trailer that all I want to be is I want to be a Hagrid and I want to run around with an army of magical creatures. That's all I want.
I don't want that, man. I want to be a wizard.
I want to be a magical creature tamer.
So I want to be fucking trench coat.
This is in a world where dragons exist. I want an army of dragons that I can like invade a town.
I'm gonna be a guy. If I can change my costume, I'm gonna have a fucking sick ass beard,
Mhm.
trench coat, black leather boots.
I'm sorry, are you just gonna be Harry Dresden?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna ride a dragon.
Yeah,
You know.
of course. Why would you not?
Also, there's that scene in the trailer at the very end, where it's like, "Oh, you will be important to the history or whatever."
Oh yeah,
And then the camera pulls out, and the character model is like at the edge of a cliff looking over Hogwarts, and I'm like, is that going to be an Assassin's Creed jump? Where you have to fucking jump into a abnormally small bale of hay that will clearly not stop you from dying. The trailer, I mean, it's telling nerds what they want, which is cool.
Yeah.
But until we get actual in-game like gameplay,
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's hard to tell if it was gameplay or not, but I feel like there might have been some snippets in there, but until I get an actual like gameplay breakdown, I don't know. Be interested to see what the actual like gameplay mechanics of this are going to be.
Yeah, I
So,
completely agree. Um,
but
God
everybody's
of
trying to destroy it before it even comes out. So you know,
yeah, I mean that's because JK Rowling, man, Rowling.
mm,
She's she's stirring up the pot, man, making fans get mad.
she's she's making fans get mad because
And honestly,
of her takes on
I'm not gonna get
uh,
political right now.
trans
I'm
people.
not
Yeah.
trying to get political right now. I don't want to. But
Okay.
I will say this:
Okay.
I love it. I don't even know what she said. I don't even know what she said.
Yeah.
I love it for the pure sense of watching people and watching people watch their idols not be who they are.
Yeah.
Because I grew up my entire life having to deal with that.
Hmm.
Having to go, do I want to read Stephen King even though on a political spectrum he would think that I suck?
Yeah.
That's the debate I've had my entire life.
Hmm.
So watching all these fucking Harry Potter geeks who like
Yeah.
get have the fucking Deathly Hallows tattoo,
Yeah.
walk around being like, "Oh, I'm a Hufflepuff."
Hmm.
I am eating it alive, watching them be like, "No," and like have to like burn their book sets. I fucking love it. I love it,
Oh,
man. I love it. It's like
yeah.
pessimistic and evil, but I'm enjoying it a lot.
It's pretty funny. Well, it's just like I don't know. I'm at that point where it's just like I'm in one group on in my Facebook. I don't even know how I got out of this fucking group. But it's like there's the one guy in the group that has been like I swear to God, this week he's posted like three to five different posts about it over
Uh,
and over again. And they're all screenshots from Twitter from this same bitch. And every time I see her, she's just like, I think you all are terrible people. And I think you can buy the game, but you have to acknowledge that you're all terrible people. And I was like, okay, I'm a terrible person. Fuck you. This game looks rad. If the game's good, it's fine. Also, why the fuck should the developers of the game have to pay for the mistakes of the author? And she's like, yeah, but like, or she said some shit. I don't even remember what the fuck she said. She was saying something about the developers, and she's like, "You still shouldn't support the developers because of what she said." And I was like, "Why? What do they have to do with like whatever the fuck she said?"
I love too that the developer came out and was like, "Listen,
Oh yeah,
she has no relation to the game.
yeah.
She's not helping with the game." And that was it was the article. I forget who I was reading it from. Maybe I posted it in the group or not in the news. In the
Mm-hmm.
news, I don't know if I did or not. Maybe it was IGN or somebody. Whoever wrote the article, they were
Mm-hmm.
like, the company came out with their statement. We're not. She's not attached to the project of the game or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the news, no IGN or whoever wrote this article was like, it's still unconfirmed whether or not she makes money off of the game. I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
If she's
We're
not involved, she's not
we're
making money.
no. We're not sure if the lady who
Yeah.
owns the IP, the lady who
Well,
sold the IP to Warner
yeah.
Brothers for Universal, you don't think she's gonna get a cut of
Well,
anything?
I would assume that what happened is that she probably got a cut when they were developing it. And I mean, maybe
You don't
she's
think she's gonna
smarter
get
than
cut the
that.
like? You don't think every
Maybe
wand
she's smarter
sale
and she's
from
getting a
Target,
percentage of sale. Yeah.
like she's the first billionaire author?
Yeah.
You don't become the first billionaire author or whatever without having like good ass deals.
That's true.
Like you don't think that she's like every time you buy a fucking chocolate thing from fucking Universal, she gets a cut of it because that's Harry Potter and she
Yeah.
owns the copyright? Like no, dude, no way. Hold on, let's double check. Let me make sure that
Maybe she's smarter than that, but
in 2004, Forbes named Rowling as the first person to become a U.S. billionaire by writing books.
hmm.
Listen, that's purely on book sales. Now imagine fucking all the licensing, man. You don't make $1 billion off of writing books and
Hmm.
then not have like the most expensive licensing agreements of all time.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only reason why fucking Disney was the other option for it. So
Hmm.
like, does she make money off this game? Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Huh.
Now whether it's at the back end once a year, she will get money from this game, and you would have to be like an
Hmm.
idiot to be like, well, guys, she won't make money off of this game, and it's okay for you to buy it, even if you don't like what she says.
Yeah.
I love that internal strife because it's people being like this. It's people. It's the same people who are like, listen, listen.
Mm.
Here's why you cannot like Seven anymore because Kevin Spacey is problematic. Here's why you can't like anything with Gary Sinise in it because he supports the military.
Yeah.
Right? It's those same people who have to go. I have a room full of Harry Potter wands, and I want to play this game, but I don't agree with JK Rowling. Do I want to keep?
Yeah.
I can't, like, listen. Are you going to throw away all your shit, or are you going to really separate the artist from the art? Or are you gonna not do that? You know, it's finally coming down to that battle where since I don't know anything about J.K. Rowling or what she says, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I watched Seven yesterday. Guess what? He's great in it. He's
so
fucking
great.
good. And is he a creepy guy? Absolutely. But
It's kind of his whole archetype.
But that movie, fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So, moving on though from Harry Potter, which I will gladly buy, and not burn my box set that I have right here. God of War was announced.
Fuck. Yes.
We knew it was happening. There was no question of it coming out. It was just a matter of when.
There was no clue it was happening. But, Jason, it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
That's the big news right there. 2021, baby.
It must.
I thought it would have at least been like 2023 or whatever.
It must mean that the graphical intensity is not that much different from this game, the last game.
Well, honestly,
right?
I mean, just watching, PS5 demos in general, for me, I don't know. It doesn't look like there's too much stuff that's radically different.
Clearly, we didn't get one of those opening games that like push the console to the max, like knack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fucking
that's
fucking
fucking
bullshit.
Demon Souls, dude. Have you seen fucking Demon Souls?
What's up with that trailer? Because that trailer looked like shit.
You didn't like the trailer? I thought that trailer.
Why was everyone? He was one hitting everybody.
Well, that's Demon Souls.
Is it?
The mob enemies, yeah, a lot of them are like one hit.
Depending on it was such a boring trailer. It looked great, like visually, but the guy's just running and just hitting everybody.
Boring, but I mean, they definitely show. I mean, they show the backstab, and I think the animations for the backstab, and you got the.
It looked like cool. It looks great.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense as a trailer for me because it's like, dude, why is this so? There was like not much music. It was like kind of like low. It was slow paced. Yeah. There was like a hallway shots. I was like, what a weird way to show your game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
like there's no parries. There's all one hits until the little final boss scene. It was kind of a weird way to show off a game. Maybe people who like that IP are super hyped for that, but like for me, who doesn't care.
From everything that I saw, people who like that IP thought that trailer was fucking
because I was watching it. I was watching the Angry Joe live stream of the stream, and him and his friends in the comments were like, some of the comments were like, why is he one hitting everybody? Yeah. Like if you watch like Bloodborne or like other like Dark Souls, other games or whatever, like it's like dodges and parries and all this kind of stuff. So for me, I was like, so are we gonna just want to hit everybody? Is that the game? I didn't know. So to me, it was kind of a weird trailer. It's a weird trailer for. Again, I don't know the IP enough to know if that's how it is or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I've seen horde enemies in other games like fucking murder you.
Yeah.
So I have no connection to that franchise. So I will not be buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will buy it eventually, but it's definitely not something that like is making me want to buy one on launch day.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever talked about this either, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I think you brought up the question. I don't know if I answered it, but even after, I mean, I think this overall, presentation was one of the best for Xbox or PlayStation so far.
Yeah.
The prices are not terrible, but I still don't think that there's anything that's coming out debuting for the PlayStation that makes me want to buy a PlayStation right away.
No.
Especially after their pre-order fucking nonsense. I think I'd rather go with like I think for Cyberpunk, I think I'm still gonna just go with the original plan and probably just buy a Series S for like 300.
Yeah.
Play Cyberpunk on, next gen consoles, and then, I'll still have my PS4, and then to watch Blu-rays and shit. And then if I want to, I can just, you know, buy a PS5 digital and then buy like a $50 Blu-ray player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I saw the thing where it was like, I guess the disc drive for the PS5 is a 4K player.
Yeah, it's a 4K player.
But I mean, we had that conversation last week where it's just like, I don't know, 4K really isn't super compelling to me right now because I don't have a 4K TV and I really don't have a lot of 4K movies. I don't buy 4K movies because I don't have a 4K player. So I'm really just fine with like buying like a $50 Blu-ray player.
Right. See, I do buy 4K. I have a 4K player and TV, and I just bought 4K Goonies yesterday. Or my girlfriend just bought, not me. She just bought 4K Goonies and 4K Beetlejuice yesterday.
Okay.
So, but I have a player, so I don't need a PS5
Yeah.
Max.
You don't need the disc. Yeah.
I mean, I want it for the computing power.
So yeah.
You know.
So were you able to find out what the different that not even like between the Xbox and the PlayStation, but like between the digital and the disc PS5? Is there a difference in the specs?
I saw a comparison chart a few days ago that showed all of them like in one picture, and they were, again, I'm not a tech guy either, but there were different numbers.
Okay.
Like I saw on the Xbox Lite version versus the PS5 Lite version, like some of the numbers were different. Like they were lower on the Xbox and they were higher on the PS5. So like I'm assuming that the PS5 version just has more, computing power or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I don't know what you would call it. Gaming potential. Which is why it's $100 more, I'm assuming. But between the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I couldn't tell you. It says here that there's a picture right here I found on Google that has a bunch of shit that I don't know, like teraflops and gigabyte bandwidth and all this UHDs and internal storage stuff that I don't know. I mean, the Xbox looks better apparently. I'm looking at this picture and it looks like the Xbox has more shit in it, but I don't know what that means.
Does it?
I couldn't tell you. Like, here, I'll send you the picture I'm looking at. I couldn't tell you what a fucking teraflop is. Like, on every spectrum, it looks like the Xbox is better.
Okay.
From a person who has no idea what any of this means. Like every number is higher, so I'm assuming that's better, but I don't know enough about tech shit. We would have to ask our friends who know more about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, and then my eyes just glaze over when I see this kind of stuff. Yeah. I really don't know the difference between them.
It's literally like when I buy 4Ks and I go on like Blu-ray.com or websites or comparison stuff to see how much better the Blu-ray is comparatively to the 4K Blu-ray, and then people like will be reviewing the 4K and start breaking down like aspect ratio stuff. I'm like, listen. Take a screenshot of the Blu-ray and then go in the 4K of the exact same moment and take a screenshot and then show them side by side. And then I can make a decision of if I want the 4K. Because if you're telling me fucking digital numbers about camera exposures, as a film school student who hated that, I will tell you, listen, just show me a picture. Because I'm fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So, like, do I want to buy an Xbox or PS5? Okay, give me Call of Duty and then do this on YouTube.
Do that IGN shit where they do that shit where they do the different game and they show it in like, what is it? They've wiped between like the PlayStation, the Xbox, and I think they do like PC too.
Yep, exactly.
PC always looks the best because obviously PCs always look the best, but because you just have more processing power behind a PC and you can upgrade it way easier than a fucking console. So
exactly. So I think I'm gonna be doing the same thing. I'm gonna be getting Xbox, even though my girlfriend wants to get the disc drive Xbox. So we'll see about that. We'll see what happens with that. But I think
Okay.
ultimately I'll end up just getting the light PS5, regardless of what happens with the Xbox. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean for the exclusives, I mean I think we've told this before, but I buy most of my stuff digital anyway, so I really don't buy physical stuff anymore, like game
Yeah.
wise. And so I probably, if I want to play any of those exclusives on PlayStation, I'll probably just buy the digital PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 and go from there.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, moving on to I think our last two big things.
Mm.
Um, maybe just the one last big thing. I'm not sure how big of a news Night City is. It really isn't that big of a news.
It really wasn't that big. I mean, it was interesting, but it was like it was not really what I wanted to see.
Yeah. I will say this real quick though. DC 5G according to Jim Lee is officially dead. That's an
Hmm.
article from IGN. If you guys remember, 5G was their new initiative to reboot the DC line and add in a bunch of new diverse characters as old characters like Black Batman or
Hmm.
um, a bunch of shit like that. That
Hmm.
people were like, yeah, don't do that. But that's canceled. That's dead. That's dead in the water now. Um, so that's confirmed from IGN and from Jim Lee, the legendary X-Men and Batman
Hmm.
artist. Night City Wire, Cyberpunk gang stuff. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's cool that we saw some more stuff, but at the
I mean,
same
it was
time, we
cool that we
know.
saw it, but I mean, really, all they did was they did a tour of Night City, just going through all the different districts that are in the city. And then, I mean, the thing that I like about it the most is they have developers on to like talk about their process of like designing the game and stuff like that, which is cool to see. But it's like, I feel like for a lot of that stuff, especially the tour in the Night City, I feel like I'd already heard a lot of it before. The more interesting aspect was like going through the gangs and stuff like that, but they still it was just like the basic overview of like the different gangs that are in Night City, but they really don't talk too much about like how they fit into the story. They just give you the basic like, plot synopsis of like what each gang is about. But
Yeah,
there's no way of like how they interconnect with each other or like how they interconnect with you like going through the game or something like that. So that was disappointing.
yeah, I agree. It's almost like they're kind of like overcompensating for having delayed the game twice or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
they're
which
planning another episode before the game comes out, so
I'm
we'll
glad
see.
that they're giving us information. I think that's really great. I'm happy
Yeah.
that we're getting stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's just that's not stuff that I care about. Like I mentioned in our text thread, I
Yeah.
want to see skill tree. I want to see
I want to see more gameplay. We really
I want to
haven't
see
seen
gameplay. I
gameplay
want to see
in a long time.
superficial cosmetic stuff. I want to see that. I want to see how changing your clothes. I want to see changing stuff like that. That doesn't really matter, but ultimately makes the game cyberpunky.
Yeah.
I want to see car stuff. Um, I want to see other mission stuff. I want to see
I want to see motorcycle stuff. That's what I want to
motorcycle
see.
stuff. I want to see a lot of that stuff. I don't need to see more world building. I got the world building. I
Yeah.
understand. I've seen Blade Runner. I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I got it. I got it.
I've listened to the RPG Maker himself talk. Like, I got
Yeah,
it.
I have the game book.
Yeah.
Like I have the game guide.
Hmm.
Copy that. I want to see the
Yeah.
cool stuff about the game that I'm excited for, and that's a big part of that is literally like what kind of jackets can I buy? That's a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Character customization. I've also seen the building screen. I want to see the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. But to wrap up the show,
Hmm.
we want to talk about James Bond with some heavy rumors
Yeah.
being reported across the the internet, the film sphere.
Couple of different sites. I still haven't seen any like major movie sites pick it up, but I've seen a couple of, the rumor mill sites
Yeah, a
really.
lot of the rumor places, it's a heavy rumor, but
Maybe there's
when
more
it's across
today.
that bad, when it's across that many places,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go to Deadline real quick. Let's see if Deadline's reporting on it. If Deadline reports on it, then it's a rumor to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if I might have to scroll a little too much. Let's see.
Mm,
Hollywood reporter Tom Hardy. No, they're not reporting on it as much. So
okay.
it's definitely the big, more pop culture places,
Hmm.
which is fine because it's if it's to me, if it's that many places are like worth or are putting their time in to write an article on it,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, it must be a decent rumor from a decent source or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the rumor is that the next James Bond after Daniel Craig will be Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Now, I think we've talked about this before with Tom
I'm
Hardy
I'm sure we
specifically.
have.
A couple weeks ago, we did our James Bond potential new casting, and we never really came up with a good uh, option. Tom Hardy was in that mix that we talked about,
Yeah.
but with this rumor coming around and flying around, pop culture rumor mill, where do you stand now, Zach, with Tom Hardy potentially as James Bond? If this happens, like, legitimately, how do you feel? Where do you stand with Tom Hardy as 007?
I mean, disappointed isn't the right word because I'm not disappointed because I think Tom Hardy will be fine. Um, I almost think that he's almost not right because the more that I think about his filmography, I think the characters that he does really well, especially recently, are like, I mean, very British characters, but I think he really does well with like the London gangsters, mobster type characters. I think that's the aesthetic he kind of fits in a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see him as like the suave secret agent, which he totally can do that. I'm sure he could, because he's an amazing actor, and I don't doubt that he could pull off James Bond. Um, but the biggest problem that I have with it, and it's a problem that we've discussed before, is that he's just too old. And I don't know how you could get more than like 2 or 3 movies out of him before you have to recast somebody else because he'll be like 50.
Yeah,
And
he's 43
I,
right now. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they've done James Bonds in the past where they do like, you know, he does one movie and he's over with. Famously, I think we watched it on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Is which Bond is that? Can't remember which Bond that is now. But that was like his one Bond movie, and it was like he was like, "All right, never coming back anymore." I think that wasn't Roger Moore. Who was it?
No, Roger Moore is the longest one.
Yeah,
No, it's George Lazenby is the one off.
Lazenby. Yeah, so he was the one off. So I mean, it's not unprecedented, but I don't know. I feel like Bond as a series. I don't know. I feel like you really want to establish your character in a couple of movies before you switch off to a different one. I mean,
Yeah.
Daniel Craig's been Bond. I mean, he only has 5 movies, but I mean, he's been Bond since like what, like 2005, seven,
Something like that. Yeah.
something like that. I mean, it was before 2010. I feel like
Oh 05, oh 06,
Casino
maybe
Royale.
something like that.
When was Casino Royale?
It's definitely
Let me
been like
see.
14 years, 15 years.
Casino Royale was 2006. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's been over 14 years. So,
I mean,
um,
it shows me like I think what would be smart would be to start younger
mhm,
so you can get in 4 or 5 movies and not have to worry about age or
yeah,
whatever. So
mhm,
going with someone who's 30, 33, and I keep mentioning the guy from Game of Thrones, who I think would be a good actor,
yeah,
the guy from Bodyguard.
mhm,
Like someone who's that age, 33, 34, 35,
yeah,
and you can play it realistically, you can have the character grow over the course of a story if they're trying to go back and make a like what we talked about last time we talked about James Bond, where how in this series they really try to like shoehorn in a continuity. Like
yeah,
if you want to do that, I would love that, but do it from the beginning
yeah,
with the intention, so you can do that with a younger person
mhm,
and progress it to where by the time you're done with your 5, 6, 7 movie series, you have a complete story and the
yeah,
character and the actor is grown and they're they go from being 30 something to 40 something and you see progression.
mhm,
Like Roger Moore, where when he comes in, he's old, and when he leaves, he's old. like,
yeah,
you know, and like with Craig, he came in younger, and he's leaving as he's older, obviously, but the character progression is not really there because what has he learned? Like, nothing really.
Not much.
Nothing really. And since they just reboot Bond so much, like the only time the only consistency that we had with Bond was like was M,
Yeah,
because she
I
played
think
M.
M and Q for the longest time until Craig when they recast Q. But M and Q were usually the same person, and then I think maybe Moneypenny too. It was like basically the people he interacted with MI6 were like the consistent actors that were the same. But now that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and since this is Craig's last movie,
Hmm.
you could even just go ahead and say, you know what, same universe, do about 007, but I mean, people would still kind of be mad about that.
Hmm.
I personally would rather start from scratch, have a whole new Bond like we have been, and just go from there,
Yeah,
and just cast someone we don't know. Just cast a
that would be
complete
nice.
nobody. Cast a complete nobody, and you can just build it. Now, if you
Yeah,
want to cast somebody, I mean, the Richard Madden guy or whatever his name is, fucking Taron Egerton, guys who've played
yeah.
spies before. Because when it comes to like Bond's not Roger Moore anymore. Bond is Jason Bourne.
No, yeah.
You
Bond's
know,
Jason Bourne now.
Bond's John Wick. You know, so
Hmm.
if he was old school Bond, I'd be like, okay, well, you can cast a guy who's been in like more drama-y stuff, and like
Yeah,
you can go for that. You don't have to worry about so much the physical attributes. But that's not what Bond is anymore. Bond's a
no,
blockbuster in the sense of like kicking and punching and parkour.
yeah,
So like you have to find someone who's built enough to be believable. Because honestly, if I saw Sean Connery trying to do what Daniel Craig does, I'd be like, okay.
yeah,
Even in the first movies, I'm like, I don't believe that you can do 90% of what you do in these movies. Because you look like you're a tall dude, you're good in shape, but like you're not like fucking imposing,
yeah.
you know. So I don't know, man. Tom Hardy's great. He's a great actor. He's amazing. We all love Tom Hardy. He's
Hmm.
obviously he can get very jacked. We've seen him get big for Bronson. We saw him get big for Bane. We know he's a good actor and physically capable. We know he would commit to it.
Yeah,
He loves what he loves and he commits to what he loves. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's the wrong choice if that's what they're really going for.
yeah. I don't know. It's not something I agree with. Um, I don't know, but it's just a rumor, so maybe it'll turn out to be that I don't know. They're going with somebody else or something like that. I don't know. It's hard to
I
tell.
bet it's 70-30. 70
Hmm.
30 it's legit, 30% chance it's a rumor.
Yeah, it's possible.
I feel like when's it coming out? No Time to Die? November?
November now, I think. Yeah,
I feel like they won't confirm it till either right before it or right after it.
probably. I assume it'll probably be after because they'll have the movie come out and then they'll be like, "All right, move on to the next Bond, and this is who we're picking." Um, so I don't know. I just that's so weird. It just feels like it's so. It's also so left field too because it just came out of nowhere. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a random ass
Because I
rumor,
mean, as
right?
far as like, as far as like picking older actors, I feel like way more people have been claiming for like Idris Elba to be Bond for like the longest time. I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah,
pick somebody older, I feel like he fits it a little bit better than Tom Hardy as far as like being able to play like just the spy better. I don't know, not better per se, but I feel like he more fits the role than Tom Hardy does.
he's more suave.
Yeah,
He's more traditionally attractive. Tom Hardy has like a
yeah.
he's a good looking guy, but he also has like kind of like a weird
He's got the rough boy
like a
aesthetic.
bruiser face. Like you can tell
Yeah,
he's like been in some business.
yeah,
You know, but so I don't know, man. I can't I can't. I know that if we see No Time to Die and then we're walking out of the theater being like, I can't wait for 2 years when we see, you know, Right Time to Live and it's with
yeah.
Tom Hardy as James Bond.
Right time to live.
I'm not gonna. I would watch it and I know that I would enjoy it, but
Yeah,
I know that ultimately, it,
he doesn't. He's not going to be with us for that long. Yeah,
yeah, it would be like a 2 or 3 movie deal, and then maybe he would do it until he's 60. Who knows? But like, I don't think that I would want to see
maybe
that. You know,
no.
part of me kind of wants them to go complete opposite direction. And now I What's her name? I remember we mentioned before when this article came out, but Ava Green was like, "Yo, James Bond's a white guy, or he's a guy, or whatever,"
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Yeah, he should be. That's the character." It was either Ava Green or someone like that, a former
Mm-hmm.
blonde girl. Like, part of me's like, Dean, what if we just like, okay, let's just go crazy with it. Let's like add like make a Chinese dude, make him Bond. We
Okay.
can call for diversity, make him Chinese. There's a ton of Chinese people there, and what's the name Bond? Well, that's like a nickname or some bullshit. I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I don't fucking know. I can't think of anyone in the cast because clearly no one's
I
like
mean, that's the
good
problem we
enough.
keep coming up with over and over again is that we just don't know anybody on the radars right now who would be good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
I feel like that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't remember too much from this time because I wasn't super paying attention, but like, was Daniel Craig super well known before he became James Bond?
Not really. No, he did like layer cake, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh well, guys,
Tough, man.
that's the big news of the week. We'll call it there
Yeah.
because we're a little bit later than usual. So, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
We'll see you back next week for episode 98 of License to
98.
View.
Getting close.
Almost to 100, baby.
Almost.
Finally.